Imagine you're starving in the wilderness. A deer walks by, and then a wolf. Which one would you hunt? Most people would choose the deer without even thinking. But why? Is predator meat poisonous, dangerous, or is there a hidden reason humans have avoided it for thousands of years? The answer is far more surprising than you think. Have you ever noticed something strange about the food we eat? Around the world, humans eat cows, chickens, sheep, goats, pigs, rabbits, deer, ducks, fish, and many other animals. But one group of animals is almost completely missing from our dinner plates: predators. Very few people regularly eat wolves, lions, tigers, eagles, foxes, or crocodiles. Even in countries where almost every type of meat is available, predator meat is extremely rare. Is it simply because these animals are dangerous to hunt? Or is there something much deeper behind this pattern? As it turns out, nature itself has been giving humans a very important lesson. To understand why, we first need to understand how the food chain works. Plants use sunlight to make energy. Animals like cows and deer eat plants. Predators then eat those animals. Every time energy moves up the food chain, a huge amount is lost. A cow can spend months eating grass before it gains enough weight. Now imagine raising a wolf. Instead of eating cheap grass, that wolf must eat several large animals throughout its life. In other words, producing 1 pound of predator meat requires many more pounds of prey animals. From an energy standpoint, predator meat is one of the least efficient foods humans could ever produce. Long before modern science existed, ancient humans figured this out through experience. There is another obvious problem. Predators fight back. Hunting a deer is already difficult. Now imagine trying to hunt a tiger with nothing more than a spear, or chasing a wolf pack across freezing mountains. One mistake could cost your life. For ancient humans, every hunt was a matter of survival. Choosing prey instead of predators wasn't just easier. It was often the difference between living and dying. The safest meal was usually the smartest meal. But perhaps the biggest reason isn't danger at all. It's disease. Predators sit at the very top of the food chain. Every animal they eat can carry parasites, bacteria, and harmful chemicals. As predators consume more prey over their lifetime, these dangerous substances can build up inside their bodies. Scientists call this process bioaccumulation. That means a top predator often contains far more harmful contaminants than the animals below it. For early humans, eating predator meat could increase the risk of serious illness, even if they had no idea why. Without realizing the science, our ancestors learned a simple rule: eating prey animals was usually safer than eating predators. Coming up next, there's another fascinating reason humans rarely farm predators, and it completely changed the history of civilization. Think about every animal humans have successfully farmed: cows, chickens, sheep, goats, pigs. What do they all have in common? They're either herbivores or omnivores that can eat inexpensive food. Now imagine trying to run a wolf farm. Every single wolf would need a constant supply of fresh meat. To feed just one predator, you'd first have to raise many other animals. Instead of producing food, you'd be consuming even more food. The math simply doesn't work. That's why, throughout history, almost every successful farming civilization relied on plant-eating animals. Predators were simply too expensive to keep alive. Even if someone managed to hunt a predator, would the meat actually be worth eating? Usually, no. Predators spend their lives chasing prey, fighting rivals, and defending territory. That constant activity creates lean, muscular bodies with very little fat. Fat was incredibly valuable to ancient humans. It provided energy during harsh winters and long periods without food. A deer or wild pig often offered much more usable fat than a wolf or a fox. So after risking your life, you still ended up with less food and fewer calories. From a survival perspective, it was a terrible trade. Ancient humans discovered something surprising. Sometimes a living predator was worth more than a dead one. Wolves, for example, eventually became humanity's first domesticated animal. Over thousands of years, some wolves evolved into loyal dogs. Those dogs helped humans hunt, guarded camps, warned of danger, and even protected children. Instead of eating wolves, humans turned them into partners. That decision changed history forever. Without dogs, early hunting and survival would have been much harder. Of course, there have always been exceptions. In some Arctic regions, people have eaten polar bears or seals when food was scarce. In certain coastal communities, people have eaten sharks or crocodiles. But notice something important. These meals usually happened because there were very few alternatives. They were survival foods, not everyday meals. Across nearly every civilization, predator meat remained uncommon. Not because people couldn't eat it, but because there were almost always better, safer, and more efficient choices. Imagine you're the leader of an ancient village. You have enough food to raise either one wolf or several goats. Which choice gives your people the best chance to survive? The answer is obvious. The goats provide meat, milk, and eventually more goats. The wolf only consumes meat that could have fed your family. For thousands of years, successful civilizations weren't built by raising predators. They were built by raising animals that turned grass and plants into food humans could use. That simple decision helped communities grow larger, healthier, and more stable. In many ways, civilization itself was built on choosing prey over predators. Today we have modern farms, refrigeration, and advanced food safety. So why don't supermarkets sell wolf steaks or lion burgers? Because the same problems still exist. Predators are expensive to feed. They produce less usable meat. Their meat is often lean and less appealing. Many predator species are also protected by law because their populations are small and they play essential roles in ecosystems. Instead of becoming livestock, predators help keep nature balanced. Without them, prey populations can grow out of control, damaging forests, grasslands, and entire ecosystems. So, can humans eat predator meat? Yes, in many cases, predator meat isn't automatically poisonous. But throughout history, humans learned that it was usually the worst option. It required more effort to hunt. It carried greater risks. It often contained more parasites and accumulated contaminants. It provided fewer calories for the energy spent. And it was almost impossible to farm efficiently. Generation after generation, people naturally chose animals that were easier, safer, and more productive. Over time, that choice became part of human culture. The next time you sit down to eat chicken, beef, lamb, or fish, remember this. Your meal isn't just the result of modern farming. It's the product of thousands of years of human survival, observation, and experience. Humans didn't avoid predator meat because of a single rule. They avoided it because nature kept proving the same lesson over and over again. The smartest meal wasn't the fiercest animal. It was the one that gave the most food with the least risk.